Have any of you used an Instapot? If you have, definitely leave us a comment. I'd like to get an idea of how many of you have actually cooked a meal in an Instapot. And those of you that have not, well, today we're going to make a really simple meal in an Instapot and kind of show you how simple it is and how fast it cooks. So today I'm going to kind of show you a meal that I create in an Instapot. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes. With prepping and everything, you're probably looking at about 20 to 25 minutes and you got yourself a dinner. So I'm going to kind of go step by step, show you all the ingredients, things like that, and how to run the Instapot. Okay, so some of the ingredients that we are going to use tonight, what I am going to end up creating is what I like to call a burrito bowl. And it's done in an Instapot in about half the time it would take to cook on the stove and cook everything separately. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that we actually need to use to put into that. First off, you want some chicken breast. I usually do about 4 or 5 good-sized chicken breasts. I kind of cut them up in chunks and put them in a bowl. So I had about 4 chicken breasts and I kind of cut them up into chunks, put them in a bowl here. Another thing that you want is you want a thing of chicken broth. I don't usually use the whole container of the chicken broth. I usually use about half to a quarter of the box. You also want, depending on how many people you're serving, I of course am serving 2 to 3 people, so you can definitely double up on any of this ingredients. The next thing I'm going to put in is Rotel. I put 1 can of Rotel in there. 1 can of whole kernel corn. I have 1 can of black beans. Now you don't have to use the black beans. You can use kidney beans. You can use well-cooked pinto beans, but you definitely want the pinto beans cooked prior to put them in the Instapot. Another thing I have here is I have 2 cups of rice. You can use regular rice or you can use instant rice. The only thing is with I like to use regular rice, preferably before I do the instant rice, because I tried the instant rice in the Instapot once and it kind of overcooked. So I stopped using that. If you do use the instant rice, you don't want to put it right in the pot when you first start cooking it. You kind of want to cut the time in half and then add the rice to the last half of the cooking process. So we're going to go ahead and get this all mixed together. Okay, so the chicken breast is in a bowl, all chopped up. I have a packet of taco seasoning here. I'm just going to go ahead and add that right on in with the chicken breast. Okay, so I've added my taco seasoning in. I'm just going to kind of mix this up just a little bit here, kind of get it all nice and mixed in. And then I'm just going to remove the lid off of the Instapot. Make sure you take all the other accessories from the inside out. Okay, so we got the inside here. And what I do first is I go ahead and after I mix the chicken with the taco seasoning, I'm just going to dump that right inside there. Then I'm going to take that and just kind of spread it out along the bottom of the pot. So just kind of make sure that it's kind of spread out a little bit to kind of give it some even cooking. Okay, so I have the chicken in there. I'm going to take my rice and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it right on top of the chicken. And I actually put about 2 cups of the rice in there this time. Just kind of spread that out also. I have my 1 can of Rotel. Just kind of dump that right on top of there. I have my 1 can of corn. my 1 can of black beans. And as you all can see, as I called it, my dump taco. I'm just dumping it all right in the pot. Then I'm going to take my chicken broth and I'm going to just put some chicken broth right in there with it. Just kind of mix it in a little bit here. You want to make sure that the rice is at least covered with the juices, like the chicken broth, things like that, because the rice, of course, it absorbs a lot of the juices. That looks pretty darn good there. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the chicken broth. So that looks about right. Okay, and then at the top here, there's a vent and a seal. You want to make sure the vent is sealed. Go ahead and put the lid on. Make sure the vent is sealed at the top here. And then you're going to go ahead and we're going to set it. So I'm going to say I want to pressure cook on high. And I only want to go, I only want to do 10 minutes because I'm only doing like a half of a batch that I normally do. So I'm only going to go 10 minutes and then start. Now it's going to take, it usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes for the pressure cooker to build up that pressure in there. And then the timer will start counting down for those of you that's never used an Instapot. After 10 minutes, you want to release the pressure on the vent at the top. So this little thing here, this will pop up. There's a little red thing here. I don't know if you can see it right there. That will pop up when it's all done. You're going to actually switch this over and let it fully vent. So once you actually switch that over, it usually takes, depending on how much of a product you're cooking or how long you're cooking, it usually takes about 10 minutes at the most to release all that pressure before you release the lid and that. So we're going to go ahead and get this set for 10 minutes, let it cook, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. So with the taco bowl, while the Instapot is cooking, there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. You can do just that, the ingredients that you put in there in the Instapot. You can add some extras to it. I like to put it like in a tortilla. So I kind of heat up some tortillas, a few tortillas in a pan with just a little bit of like olive oil or a little bit of like Pam spray. Another thing I do is I heat up like a can of refried beans. You can put refried beans on top of it, tomatoes, onions, lettuce, cheese, sour cream, taco sauce, whatever you want to do. It really all depends on what you prefer to have inside of it, or inside of the taco or burrito, or you could just have the plain ingredients that we put in the pot. So altogether, I would say this meal maybe cost me, I would say $13 for everything that I got on it. So that all depends on what you like. You can have just that. Put it in a bowl. Once it's done, put it in a bowl, add some cheese, whatever you want on it. It's pretty much how you take it. You know, you like your Mexican food with tomatoes, sour cream, jalapenos. I mean, everybody's got to have a few jalapenos in there, right? So it's really up to you. Pretty simple, but we're going to go ahead and let this finish cooking. I'm going to get everything else together, refried beans heated up, stuff like that, and I'll be back in a bit. So as you all can see, kind of got the table set here. I got all of my extra fixings chopped up, everything. Got some lettuce, olives, tomatoes, refried beans, and cheese. So we have about, looks like 4 minutes left, and then we're going to check on it and see how it turned out. Okay, so the timer went off, and I am currently releasing all of the steam out of the Instapot. All the steam has to be released for those of you that's never used an Instapot. All the steam has to be released, otherwise the lid won't open because I guess for a safety feature, it locks it. So I switched it over to vent, and it's venting right now. Oh, if you all can only smell it right now, it smells so yummy. So we're gonna wait for that to release and take a look, see how it turned out. Okay, so let's take a look here. Oh my goodness, that looks so yummy. So we got the lid off here and just kind of giving a little bit of a stir. Wow, that looks so good. Looks like it came out just right. Oh, I'm so hungry too. So I'm going to get this on up in a bowl. See what we can create out of it. So yeah, it's a pretty simple meal. I got all that prepared, put together and everything. Maybe took me 30 minutes altogether with the prepping, the cooking and that. And now dinner is on the table and ready to eat. So as you can see, there's all of that there. We got our Mexican blend there that I did in the Instapot. All of our toppings that I showed you a little bit ago in the video. And just working on heating up the tortillas, and we're going to be ready to sit down and enjoy our dinner. Now, this is just a simple meal. It doesn't cost much. You don't have to buy like a big package of chicken or anything like that. One of each is all I used. 1 can of the beans, the corn, all of that. And I only had 4 small chicken breasts, and I came up with a bowl, probably enough normally to feed about 3 to 4 people, depending on how big of a eater you are or people in your family are. But altogether, this meal cost me, as I said, about $13, I believe, to $15 at the most. But of course, I added a few extra, like the refried beans and all the toppings and that. So normally, if you do just the Instapot meal with none of the toppings, you're probably looking at about maybe $10 at the most. I doubt it, maybe $8 to $10. But pretty simple meal, guys. And an Instapot, if you don't got one, they're definitely worth it. You know, some of them can be kind of pricey, but I'm telling you, it cuts your time in half. I can throw a meal in there, even a frozen steak I can throw in there, and it's done within 20 minutes, and I got a dinner. So I hope that you like this video. If you did, definitely give us those thumbs up. That really helps us out on our channel. And we will catch you all on the next one. Thank you all for stopping by. See you next time.